Hey, running friends. Welcome to the Wrinkled Runner podcast. I'm Sherry, the Wrinkled Runner. I'm over 50 and I love to run wherever I go, but Buffalo, New York is my home. If you are looking to start to run or you're an older runner, this podcast is especially for you, so subscribe now. I love to help people get running and keep running. A few weeks ago, I was an ambassador to the Boston Run Show, which is an expo and convention for runners. This year, it was combined with the Outdoors Show, which turned out to be a really cool thing because we had so many people there, and this show just keeps growing and growing. And so this year, we had to move to the actual Boston Convention Center, where before it was at the Heinz Convention Center in Boston still, but that was a smaller venue. So this is the big venue, and it is enormous. Like, we actually, when we went in the front doors, a guy came and took us by those little go-kart kind of things, golf carty kind of things, through the whole convention center back to where our space was, because it is just an enormous place. So in doing this episode, I am trying to encourage you to put this on your radar for next year. I don't know the dates yet, but this year was phenomenal. I've been an ambassador since the beginning, and this is year 3 that they've been putting this on. And it's so much fun because you get to connect with runners, you can meet brands that are shaping the future of the sport, in addition to the brands that we all know and have been associated with for a long time. It's also a great place to see some really incredible new gear. Then this year we had some huge running legends in attendance, which included Des Linden, Meb Keflezighi, Laz Lake, and Tina Muir. So before we even get to the expo, I'm based in Buffalo, and so we decided to drive to Boston. It's about 6.5-hour drive, and I love road trips, and I'm getting ready today to actually go on a 12-hour one, but we're going to stop after 6 hours and spend the night. But Dave, the Hubs, he hates them. So I try to keep him occupied with podcasts about things that interest him, like beer. Shout out to the beerists. And I also hook up stand-up comedy. And if you like stand-up comedy, I am really into Zoltan Kazas right now. I don't know if I'm butchering his last name or not. Nate Bargatze. So that passes a lot of time too. So if you go on a road trip, just side note, you can hook up like Netflix or whatever, YouTube, and stand-up comedians, and that can pass the time away really well. Now, if it was just me going, I'd be listening to other running podcasts and personal training ones, since I also do that, but not with Dave in the car. He likes to run with me, and he does it as exercise, but he does not want to be reminded of it otherwise. So we drove there, and the moment we arrived at the venue, it was so great to feel that energy again. And both mornings of the run show, they had runs planned, which is different than in other years. So some of us were there very early, getting ready to go on some runs before the actual run show. So as an ambassador, I had the chance to help out in the mornings, and I got to hand out merchandise to the runners who were waiting in line to get in. They give out a ton of free stuff at this convention. Little things like keychains and water bottles to t-shirts. There were some really cool bottle openers, gift cards to some of the vendors. Also in some of the workshops inside, they were giving away like $50 gift cards to some of the vendors that were there. So it was a lot of fun being able to meet runners as they were going to be going into the show. And they just loved getting some of this merchandise. And some of them got like almost everything because they were there early enough. So they were getting the water bottles and the bottle openers and just everything. But those little things really set the tone for the day because everyone is super excited. And what they also do is they have the speakers come out right in the beginning and kind of have a little like a selfie picture taken and introducing. Like Des Linden was there on the second day opening the show before everybody was let in. So it's kind of an exciting thing to be around so many people who just love running and who knew who she was before we even got into the expo itself. So when Des Linden spoke, I would say she definitely stole the show. Her session was absolutely packed, and she spoke like 15 minutes after the show opened, and because I was doing some filming for the show, I didn't get there until, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes after the show opened. but already every seat was taken. There were people sitting on the ground along the sides of the walls. Her session was just jam-packed before the time that she was even going to be on. But she is a very engaging speaker, and she talked about her journey to winning Boston in 2018, and that was one of the most brutal weather days in the history of the race. It was cold, it was windy, it was pouring rain, and she powered through and made history. What stood out to me, though, was how genuine and relatable she was. She shared stories and she gave some insight into what it means to go inside the mind of an elite runner, but she's also very, very relatable. So one fact about Des is she lives in Charlevoix, Michigan, which is where some dear friends of ours live. Shout out to Chuck and Elizabeth. And they own the View Wine Bar, which is on Lake Michigan. And so being there and watching her and wondering, I wanted to talk to her after she spoke to see if she had ever been to the View Wine Bar, because I know she likes her beer and she likes her whiskey. But there were too many people. There was no way I was going to get anywhere near her because so many people wanted to talk to her. But if you ever go to Charlevoix and you see Des running, you can also go to the View Wine Bar and say hello to Chuck and Elizabeth if they're there. We also had Tina Muir there, who was a former elite runner, and she right now is an advocate for sustainable running. Also Laz Lake, and he's the mastermind behind the Barkley Marathons. This is the one that hardly anybody finished. I want to say in 2024, it was the first year that a woman finished. So he spoke there as well. Meb spoke. He's an Olympic medalist, Boston Marathon champion. I believe he also ran New York City Marathon. So we had a lot of really, really good speakers there. One of the unique events that I got to participate in was a plogging run. And that was with Tina Muir. And if you've never heard of plogging, it's a mix of running and cleaning up. Basically, you take a garbage bag with you, and as you're running, you obviously have to stop and bend over. So this isn't going to be on a very fast run, but you run and you pick up garbage along the way as you're running. And I'm going to be doing a full episode on this in the future, but what stood out to me was how easy it was to make a difference. Even if you're not on an organized plogging run, just picking up one or two pieces of trash on your run instead of stepping over them can make an impact, especially if every runner were to do that. There are some areas in my city, which is Buffalo, that is just covered in trash. And also, here's a thing, cities have garbage cans available so that people can throw out garbage. I mean, I don't understand that. One thing we can do is encourage our cities to have more garbage cans available. But if you do have a garbage can available where you are and just picking up one or two pieces of trash, it can go a long way to keeping our cities a lot more pleasant looking. Now, what made that special for me was being able to meet Tina Muir. Her podcast was actually the first running podcast that I've ever listened to when I started training for marathons. So running alongside her felt like kind of a full circle moment. And she is the sweetest person. I was able to talk to her after she had a panel discussion, and she is really, truly passionate about what she does. And it was really cool to be able to talk to her. So if you love testing out new running gear, this expo is really a dream come true. There were so many brands showcasing their latest products, and I'm going to talk about a few that really stood out to me. And if you go, you will probably have things that will stand out to you that you really enjoy. First of all, it's an app. There's an app that I really liked, which is called the Run Buddy app. It's a simple but brilliant idea because you can select up to 5 buddies, and they will get an alert if something goes wrong during your run. Whether you're running early in the morning, late at night, or just want that extra safety net, it really is an awesome tool. And I got to meet Scott and Ruthie, who are the people behind it, and I'm going to be diving deeper into this app in a future episode. I was hit by a car, and the watch that I wear actually flew off of me, and it does have emergency capabilities on it. Didn't do a thing. Did not do a thing. I didn't realize until my husband was looking at my stuff when I was in the hospital. It was 6 hours later, and it looked like I had only run like 3 miles in 6 hours because it was continuing to record my quote unquote run, even though I had stopped violently. Where before I've clapped seeing my grandson on a run, and it started notifying all my emergency contacts. So having a different way of alerting people that something might be going wrong is something that I am actually very interested in. Another cool station was the High Rock Station. So if you're into combining strength training with running, that was the place to be. And they had a whole thing all set up so that people could try it out. They were doing challenges. They were mixing in their functional fitness with their runs. And it looked like some of them were really pushing themselves. Now, I haven't explored the High Rocks thing very much, but it did look like a lot of fun. And as someone who also does strength training, it's something that I might look into doing in the future. Now, then there was the Kicker Run treadmill. And so that's a treadmill that lets you run naturally with no assistance from the belt if you so desire. So runners were signing up to try it out all day, each day. And there was a leaderboard to see who was the fastest. And some runners, of course, took this competition very, very seriously. Even those who weren't wearing running shoes were signing up and trying out this really cool treadmill to be able to run as if you were outside without the help of the belt. It just let you do your own paces. Another thing that I loved about Boston itself in going there was this place called, I think it's Mecca, M-E-C-H-A Noodle Bar. Their ramen was so good. I lived in Japan for a few years, so I feel like I know my ramen. And this was so legit. Even in their description, they listed the tear and the broth and how they put it together. And it is a very traditional way of doing it. It was so, so good. So if you're in Boston, even not for the run show and even not for anything related to running, if you like ramen, go to the Mecca Noodle Bar. So if you love running, this event is 100% worth it. Whether you're there for the speakers, the gear, the community, or just to soak up the atmosphere, the Boston Run Show really has something for every runner. And if it stays connected to the Outdoor Expo, which I really hope it does, it's a great opportunity to get a bunch of adventurers together, even if all of you aren't runners. With the Outdoor Expo, there's camping, there's fishing, there's these tents that instead of poles, they blow up. They have really cool stuff for people who like to do outdoor things. Now, if you want to go for free next year, this year it was $20 a ticket. But because I'm an ambassador, make sure that you are subscribed to my newsletter and follow me on social media, because I give away free tickets, usually starting in September, all the way up to the Friday before the running show. So make sure that you're connected. I can connect you to those free tickets. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you know another runner who could benefit from today's topic, go ahead and share it. Do you have any running questions? You can ask me. Email me at sherry@wrinkledrunner.com, and if I can't answer your question, I will do the research to find the answer and share it with you. The questions I get from listeners like you help me develop episodes, so please don't be shy. You can sign up for my once-a-month newsletter using the link provided so that you can have all the Wrinkled Runner resources from the past month all in one place. I also have opened up my virtual coaching in addition to coaching one-on-one with those in the Buffalo, New York area. So head to my coaching page on the Wrinkled Runner website, which I will, of course, link to, and check out how we may be able to work together. Until next Monday, thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the run.